No.
It was wonderful.
It's like applaud. So how are you two doing?
We're great.
Super. What a convention this is. This is turning really to be one of the top conventions in the country. It's
bonkers, isn't it?
It's really great, and due in no small part to all of you. So thank you for allowing us to be here.
I've met some of the kindest fans the last couple days, truly. Like Raleigh, well done. Well raised.
It's some serious Southern hospitality here. It's a lovely
been
city.
There's a
raised
lot of
right, man.
Yeah. So, you are able to talk about the video game work again because there was a SAG-AFTRA video game actor strike. So do you guys want to talk about that?
Well, it was the voice actors video game, actually anybody under what they call the Interactive Media Agreement, which encompassed voice actors doing video games, have been on strike since last July. And it was primarily over the use of artificial intelligence in replacing video game voice actors. And it took us a year and a lot of haggling and a lot of back and forth. The good news is, as of a couple of weeks ago, the strike is officially over.
Woo!
So,
yeah!
And the voice actors were able to get some protections against basically working against ourselves, which would have been a weird thing. And so we're quite happy with the terms that we were able to settle with the video game folks. And now we're all onward and upward, and everybody's back to work. So it's all great. Thanks for asking.
Fantastic. Speaking of work, you both started as radio disc jockeys. And
I didn't start as a radio. Oh.
It's okay.
Whoa, Steve.
Oh, gosh.
Party foul.
Man.
Party foul.
Here you go, buddy.
I'm a professional man who knows how to handle one of these things.
Microphone.
So don't try that at home.
I sort of started doing little commercials and then stumbled into radio and then continued with the commercials and then stumbled into games. So
wow.
I don't know. I feel like I didn't get my start in radio, but I definitely, it was at the beginning of my career.
You dipped your toes in the pool that is radio.
But not like Steve. Steve is a
I went
star.
in. Yeah, well, I wouldn't know about that, but I certainly went in head first and fell in love with radio. And I was telling Chris before we came on backstage. Chris has a background as a teacher, and there was a gentleman who said a few words to me that changed my life, just to emphasize the power that teachers have. And he actually said to me one day, you might be good at this, referring to being on the air radio. Well, I was, a 19-year-old, hippie, basically, and was really not good at anything other than just screwing around and skipping class. And he, when a guy like that who you respect tells you might be good at something, it changed my life. And
drumming. You were a good drummer.
Yeah, but that wasn't a career. Trust me. Anybody seen Spinal Tap?
Yeah.
Drummer is not a career. So anyway, I just bring it up as my homage to people who are in the teaching profession who don't get nearly enough credit, not to mention money, and for the lives that they can impact.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, it's like your long-term investment. You know what I mean? Like you pop the time in, and then like maybe 10, 20 years down the road, you get paid for it. So it's kind of like great.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little derailed. That's so kind.
I had a voiceover. I started taking a voiceover class because somebody had said, "I think you'd be good at this." My friend did, and I started taking a voiceover class, and I had a similar experience. The voiceover teacher said to me, "I think you have it. I think you got it. I think you're gonna. I don't think I have too much to teach you." And I was like, "Oh, that's not good."
And it was a damn good thing in my case because I wasn't good at anything else.
Yeah.
So this was pretty much it for me.
Yeah. So because with radio, I mean, you do sometimes long shifts. You have to keep going. Did that prepare you for recording for Master Chief and Cortana? Did you learn anything from that you could apply to video
Radio
games?
is very different from doing voiceovers.
Yeah.
Radio, you are projecting into that microphone. It is a very different skill. And
Completely.
you've got time in between, at least in my experience, you have time in between breaks to really figure out what you need to do in the next one, what you need to sell. My experience was different from yours, but like, there are things that you have to sell every hour. Like my radio station was always having a concert with Hoogly Doo, and so Hoogly Doo had to be sold every twice an hour or whatever it was, right? And so you're thinking about that. You're trying to figure out what you need to do. And back in the day too, and I'm sure you did, I was also controlling the board.
Right. Yeah, your own.
Yeah.
You are your own engineer,
You're
so
your
you're running
engineer.
all the gear. So you got
Yeah.
to be talking and then hitting this and doing that. It certainly prepared me in terms of mic technique, some of just basic stuff of how to use a microphone and project or not project, and that kind of thing. But I can't say there was a through line between being on the radio and other than. The whole reason I got the Master Chief gig was because I was on the radio, and this is the first and only time this ever happened to me, where the guy who was casting the voices for Halo, Marty
The guy,
O'Donnell,
Marty O'Donnell.
used to listen to me on the radio in Chicago, and he just liked the sound that I had, and said, "You're the guy if you want it." And that's the way that happened. Never has happened before or since.
Okay.
Usually
Yeah.
being on the radio is a detriment to doing voiceover. This was the opposite in that case.
So, but there's also an acting component as well. When you do the voice recording for Halo, do you do it physically in the same sound studio?
You mean the both of us?
Yes, the both of you.
The only time we ever worked together was Halo 4. We
Okay.
never met each other before Halo 4. We'd never met.
Wow.
So Halo 4 we worked together, and that's the only game we worked together on. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the only one. No, you're generally, it depends on the game, but for me, the first 3 games, 4 games, I was in the studio. 3 games, I was in the studio by myself. And then for 4, we worked together. And then we started doing motion capture. So for 5 and 6, 5 and Infinite, I was doing motion capture for that. So
Wow.
it switched up.
Yeah, it's, and I think you can say this about any acting, it's make-believe. And never is that more true than when you're voice acting a video game character who you cannot see and cannot see the action as it's happening. It's all in your head, and so the challenge of it is to create this world in front of you, in addition to a character who you're trying to embody, and speak through him in that way.
Can I ask about the perfectly perfect emotional final scene of Halo Infinite? Is it okay if I ask? I'm not going to ask any.
Spoiler alert
spoilers.
from a game
Okay.
that was out 5 years ago.
Yeah, you
Come
never
on.
know. You never
Come
know. There could be
on.
some late-term gamers.
Come
How
4
did you go
years ago.
Yeah, how did you
4.
go into preparing for that? I mean, that's an emotional scene?
Well, to me, the more emotional scene was the end of Halo 4, which at the time it was appearing that this was going to be the end of Cortana, and part of the reason I think, we never really confirmed this, but I think the reason why they brought us together to do our work together was because what was going to be required was much more of an emotional relationship than what we had done in the first 3 games. And they were right. I mean, it helped a lot that I had Jen there with me while you're speaking to her character. That was to me more emotional than the end of Infinite, and also because in Infinite, I felt like we were saying goodbye to Cortana again.
We just keep saying goodbye, don't we?
How can I miss you when you won't go away?
Can't say goodbye enough.
But and then the very end of the game was actually uplifting. It was this: the 3 of them, had this successful adventure, and now the weapon is going to be something other than the weapon. And what should we call you? And then there's
Louise.
There's the big cliffhanger there, but that was fun. But I wouldn't. For me personally, the bigger challenge was the end of Halo 4.
Okay. Wow. So what questions do we have? We have a mic right here too.
If anybody has
Yeah,
any
you
questions.
can
If
go to
not,
the
we're
mic.
just gonna
It's
start
right there. I
tap
should have led
dancing.
with that. I'm so sorry.
Jen, I love your earrings, for one.
Thank you. Aren't they cute? I carry my weapons wherever I go.
Steve's always asking. I want to show some love to any teachers that are listening. What is one piece of teaching that either from high school, grade school, or college, anything like that, that you carry with you whenever you perform as these characters?
Oh, when we perform as these characters. Specifically, when we perform as these characters.
Or in general.
Oh, the only thing, I took I can't remember what the course, voice course, how to use your voice in college, and the professor that we had happened to be a terribly attractive woman, and so
Awful for you.
it was really tough. It was tough. So at one point she's teaching us how to speak through our diaphragm, and have it come from here rather than here. And she would go around to see if we were all doing it, and put her hand on your diaphragm so she could feel the vibration if you were actually doing it. And that was a personal thrill for me. I did very well that day.
Do you carry that with you when you're
I
playing?
have carried that with me. I mean, that was a million years ago, and I can still remember it. So.
Wow.
Wow. She must have been some teacher.
Oh, she was hot.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Hot for teacher.
You know what's so interesting is you asked me that question, and I had a handful of really marvelous teachers who got me excited about whatever subject they were. For the longest time, I was going to be a marine biologist because I had this amazing 8th grade science teacher. Mrs. Crowder was her name. And that's what's just inspiring somebody to learn is what I think is the best thing that teachers can do. And we have to, every time we go into the studio, almost every time we go into the studio, at least for me, something's different. The technology has changed. And so to be able to be present and to be ready to learn what you're doing, especially with motion capture, every time I went in to do motion capture, I was like, oh, we're not using those cameras anymore. We're using a different camera. Or our face paint is completely different. And we don't have to worry about it being exact or all the things, right? It just becomes technically different. And what the gift is teaching you to be excited to learn. And I had a handful of teachers who did that, which is one of the greatest gifts I think I was given from any teacher. Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah, what do you have for us?
Hello. Are there any roles that you've done besides Halo that you would like to do again or would have liked to see get a little more attention?
I wish Chris Pratt hadn't come along, because maybe I'd still be doing Star-Lord or not. But I did a couple of episodes in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes Disney series where I was Star-Lord. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have been Star-Lord in the movie, Chris Pratt notwithstanding. But
I would like to do Zoe in Left 4 Dead again. I'd love to do Left 4 Dead 3. Come on, what's happening?
why? Why would you like to do it again?
Why? Because it's such a fun game.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, the game is fun and scary.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it updated. New graphics.
Ooh.
That'd be really scary.
Hey, great seeing you guys again. My question is, how does it make you guys feel that your performances has had such an effect on probably the majority of people in this room and have inspired them to pursue, I guess, dreams of theirs as well?
I think we would, well, I'll speak for myself. I mean, it's humbling. It's very humbling, and it feels like such a privilege to be involved with this, with Halo, but also with any of the projects that we get to work on. It's a privilege, and so it is, it's a humbling thing, and it feels like also a bit of a responsibility, which I am happy to shoulder. So it's good. It's good, and it is humbling, for sure.
And it's unique, not completely unique. There's a whole bunch of people at this convention who have a similar experience, but at least it's certainly unique for us to be able to have such intimate feedback with y'all, as they would say here.
Yeah. Use guys up north.
I mean, most of the time, use guys. Or in Pittsburgh, we say yuns, to yuns. But if you know, to be able to get your feedback on what happened in the game is such, not only is it, as Jen said, humbling and carries a responsibility, it's also informational in terms of, because how you're perceiving it is how it is. And so I find it terribly helpful to hear your stories and your reactions to certain things in the game and games that will end up affecting my performance the next time we do it. So.
It's fantastic. These are some great questions. I'm getting question envy.
Hey guys, my question is, these voices that you are doing in the studios, do you ever find yourself using them outside of it, talking to yourself and or friends?
Go on, Steve. Do it. Order your cheeseburger.
Yeah. I need a cheeseburger. To which the response is usually, I'm sorry, sir, I couldn't hear that. What was that? No, I mean,
Out of context, it would be very strange.
yeah. Like, okay, real creepo down there
what's
on
going on with that guy?
in the Ford or the Camry back there. It's really weird. It rarely works. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha.
Rarely works.
Thank y'all, guys.
Somewhat early on, I remember I was out to dinner with my sister and brother-in-law, and they had zero experience or zero information about video games. And my brother-in-law was fascinated by what this was that I did. So every time a waiter would come up or the bartender or something, he would say, you know, he's Master Chief. And, you know, it just so happened none of these people knew anything about anything. And they were like, uh-huh. All right. And so he walked away saying, is this really a thing that you're doing? And, it was like... Yeah.
My mom calls conventions conferences. Oh. How did your conference go this weekend?
That's really nice.
It's so cute.
Hi. If you've played any of the Halo games personally, which one is your favorite?
We were terrible. We suck at it. And we've both tried, and we're like just the worst noobs in the world. And I've had several people though say like, we should play through Halo together. It's like, okay, get ready. It's gonna take us a really long time and be very awkward. But I normally, when a new game comes out, and oftentimes just, you know, on a Friday, I'll make my husband play, and then I just smack talk everybody. I'm not even very good at smack talking, frankly. I'm a little too nice. So, but if you're on, you know, if you're doing multiplayer and somebody's on who sounds like Cortana, be careful because it might be me.
You watch out.
Thank you.
Yeah, my only comment about that, I don't think it's on anymore, there used to be a YouTube series, I think it was a comedy, called Master Chief Sucks at Halo. True story. I suck at Halo.
Hi, my name is Bo, and this is a question for Jen. We talked a little bit yesterday about the different characters you play, and I had to ask about the challenges that you face performing as all these characters. In Halo alone, you play as Cortana, Dr. Halsey, the weapon. I just wondered, like, how that challenged you to kind of switch between those characters.
Luckily, I had some good direction, and I had somebody who was trying to really keep me honest with each character and finding who they were, not only physically, because they physically were different to me, but emotionally, you know, and their souls were different, right? But just also being a shade of the same person, almost. So I had somebody a director who was, once we dialed it in and figured out who these characters were, who was wonderfully, really on it as far as like, no Jen, you're slipping into Cortana, or, you know, whatever. So I had a great director, which is, I think, one of the many reasons that that these pieces are endearing to people, is that they are really skillful technicians who are guiding us along the way, and artists who are guiding us along the way doing this. So I would say that is what really helped me do that, create those 3 different, slightly similar characters.
And not to take anything away from the director, but this woman kicked ass splitting what now is 3 characters who are all, whose DNA is all connected, and the ability to like she said, she being Jen, said, it's shaving. It's just these little things that that it's the people come from each other, and yet when Halsey speaks, it's not Cortana, and vice versa, and same with the weapon. And to be able to do that and pull that off successfully is an incredible skill that Jen is very good at. So,
You're nice. I like you.
yeah, I'm all right.
I'll keep you.
I'll do in a pinch.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi. You guys had mentioned that you didn't work together in the studio. You guys were separate until, of course, Halo 4. I was curious, working on the very first project that you guys worked on, where was your mind at, and what did you visualize the game to look like when you first heard of it, and when you were first working on it?
I really had no idea. We had no precedent, right? I didn't even really know what my character looked like. They told me that my character was based on Nefertiti, but I did the entire game before in fact, I don't think I actually really saw what Cortana looked like until about Halo 3. I mean, I had a general idea, but I didn't really know. So I was creating a world in my mind that was probably really kind of Star Wars-y, basically, because that was my reference, right? I knew it was sci-fi, and so that's what I was probably leaning on mostly, that kind of visualization.
Mine was, when we went in to do Combat Evolved, Marty was with me, and he was basically describing the Halo
Yeah, they're
universe.
talking us through it.
But he had no actual visual reference for me for Master Chief. It wasn't like, he kind of have a picture of him, and well, this is what he looks like. They either didn't bother to bring it, or they didn't have it at that point. So I had no idea, and his where we got to as far as the voice was concerned was, he said, think of Clint Eastwood, when Clint Eastwood did all the old spaghetti westerns and things where he didn't speak very much, but when he did, somebody usually got killed. So he said, that's your guy. And so if I had anything in my mind, in my mind's eye while recording it, it was probably Clint Eastwood.
You're in a desert wearing a poncho.
That's right, yeah. With a chewing on a cigar.
With no face, though.
With no face,
With
yeah.
no face.
Which was, thank God.
Hello, I'm a fan of Echo 216. Chief or Katana, what was your most memorable experience, movement, or moment with Echo 216 Esparza and/or voice actor Nicholas Roy?
We had a lot of good times, Nicholas and I did. And working on the scene where he is losing it was really an interesting scene to watch. We also were together working at a studio in March of 2020 across the street from the hospital where the first people who were going to the hospital with COVID were in the United States. So that is something I really think of when I think of him. Just a strange memory to have of Nicholas, but I do. But also watching him do the scene where he is just scared and freaking out and losing it, and I'm not like you, Chief, that whole moment was really wonderful to watch him do that.
He first of all, the actor he's a
sweetheart.
He's a sweetheart. He was very enthusiastic through the whole process. Very, kind of happy to be here sort of guy. And although I never worked with him directly, I've come to know him, and his character was so refreshing to introduce into the Halo universe because there really hadn't been anybody like him. And I think he challenged Master Chief in ways that the Chief had not been challenged. And you saw sides of my character that had not come out in previous games. So he was a great catalyst for that, both as a character and as the actual actor.
For both of you guys, what was your favorite story in Halo, like 1 through 4, or Infinite too? Which one had the best story in your opinion?
Well, I'd have to go back to 4 with Infinite being a close second, only because when we got done doing Halo 3, I was firmly convinced that the project was over, that there was not going to be anything more. And when it became apparent, a few years later that it was going to continue, I was, very excited because I remember when 3 was over, I thought, God, there is this just bottomless pit of story that will never be explored, that was already out there either through the game or through the books, that this whole rich story about Halo and the characters and the universe and everything. And I thought, we'll never get there. And so when Halo 4 came out and we saw the script, it was so exciting because, so we're going to now explore this a little, with a little more depth. So I was very excited about that, and that story is still my favorite. And I thought Halo Infinite was also, like I said, talking about introducing new characters, seeing a different side of, having the weapon, be this different sort of AI than what we were used to. So they're all great, and I know that Halo 3 is the number one. I get it, but just in terms of experience, for me, the 4 and Infinite were my 2 favorites.
I have a hard time choosing. You're choosing your babies, right? But 2 into 3 was a pretty remarkable journey too for these characters, and that was a fun one to do. Although I kind of disappeared for a while, but I had some things I needed to deal with, clearly.
Hello. That's fine. Hello. So I was wondering, is it true that you guys originally weren't cast as Master Chief and Cortana for Halo 4?
That is true.
343, this was their first game, and it was a new crew and a new deal, and they, for whatever reason, had decided to recast both Jen and I's character into 2 other characters. Let's say the legend has it that when they beta tested the game.
We don't know this answer. You say
well,
this, and
it's
becoming
I know.
legend.
All right, well then you
because
tell
she
it.
keeps
You
saying,
tell it.
No. We don't know why. So they worked with 2 other people for 6 months. One of them being Bruce Thomas, who now does the physical mocap for Chief. They worked with 2 other people. For 6 months, they did all of the motion capture work, and then they called us and said, hey, can you guys do ADR for these 2 roles? That's why we think we got to work together. I don't want to shut you down. You can tell.
No, well, like I said, it was my understanding that they, as they always do, they beta test the games. They give people, when they get to some version where you can actually play the game, they have people who do this and then give them feedback on what's good and what's not good. One of the feedback points they got was, that's not Master Chief and that's not Cortana. Oh. They look like him, but they don't sound like him. And it became obvious that they needed to, they were stuck with us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Halo.
Halo.
So if you have like a favorite weapon in Halo, would you say you've mastered them?
Oh, I get it.
I'm sorry, those were
hey,
terrible.
Dad.
This guy is good.
Dad jokes. The dad jokes are flying.
Yeah.
My favorite weapon is the Needler.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Tough to beat.
Right? It's a hard one to beat.
Actually, a guy brought up a Needler, and we took a picture, and it had batteries in it, so it was making the noises, and it was so cool. I think the battle rifle is probably my favorite. It's just it's a good go-to when all else fails.
Nice. Thanks.
Thanks.
Hi. I just want to ask, since you didn't play much of the games, but still want to ask that. What's your favorite adversary to fight against? The Covenant, the Flood, or the Banished?
What is our favorite? What was the question?
Adversary to fight
Adversary.
in the games.
The Flood scared the living hell out of me, so I'm going to go with the Flood.
Yeah, there was somebody that came out to me and said, yeah, I started playing the game, this happened today, it was, when I was 5 years old, until I got to the flood part. and then his dad had to take the
Then I
control.
stopped playing
That's
that
right, and then he
game.
stopped playing, and then he was scarred for life. But, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to ask, both Master Chief and Cortana are super inspirational characters for a lot of kids that grew up playing Halo and other Bungie games, right? I wanted to ask what you think it is about you personally, or the character that you play, or something that you do maybe, that makes them so inspirational or, you know, influential to everybody that's played or seen the games.
Something that we do that makes them that way?
Or something that the character does.
Oh.
You know, it's a question I've asked myself from time to time. I don't think it's anything that I've done. I try to represent as best I can what I think he is in terms of what my role is in it. But you know, any credit in terms of why these characters are so inspirational goes to the writers who write these stories. And it is a good question that I don't really have an answer to when I've thought about it. It's because it's obvious to many people that they are inspirational. And it's a story that goes beyond sort of the, you know, sci-fi angle or the you know, yeah. I mean, it is a hero's journey, but there's many hero's journeys, and this one seems to resonate to, you know, folks in a way that is deeper than, you know, than what I would have thought. And I don't have, I'm glad that it resonates that way, because I think it's why we're 25 years later, we're still sitting here talking about it.
I think keeping, you know, both these characters keeping their cool in remarkably stressful situations is what is one of the things that I think is appealing about both of them, right? I mean, the shit hits the fan, friends, and each time they handle it, and that is exciting and inspiring, I think.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, we got time for maybe a few more questions. What you got for us? Come on.
Okay, so you guys have worked in the game industry for quite a while. During your time working with game development studios, has there ever been anything that has really impressed you or left a very big impression on you in your life based on working with game development people?
Oh, sure. I mean, wow, how do I don't even know how to, like, that's a great question. I'm stumbling and bumbling over here trying to exactly give you the best response. I mean, not only are these people dealing with pretty remarkable technical feats, like the artistry is really beautiful, right? The imagination, I think what impresses me most every time I go in is the imagination that these people have, that creators have, that they're creating these worlds from nothing is pretty remarkable to me. That is what makes me think of play. It makes me excited to do my job because I get to do the same thing, but they're the ones who are putting it down, you know, on paper, as it were, digitally, if you will. And that is exciting to me. Those are the things that are exciting.
And it's so, you know, the levels of how I can't even imagine what's involved in creating these games. I mean, and the you know, the technical levels, the creative levels, the, you know, storytelling ability, that all of these things that you know, go into creating what is the final product. It's mind-blowing to me. And the people, the game developers, and, you know, the people who are in the trenches making this game and games like it, you know, have a skill that I think is in many ways underappreciated, and I think they just do fantastic work.
Turning play into reality is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, I wanted to ask, what's the most memorable fan experience that you've had, whether it be cool, craziest, or funniest fan interaction that you guys have had?
Oh, that's a good question.
I had a really lovely moment years ago where a man approached me and told me that playing Halo had helped him combat his PTSD after he
Wow.
got back from Afghanistan.
Whoa.
And that was a very intense, humbling moment, and we both sort of were moved together, you know? That was pretty extraordinary for me.
Yeah, in fact, it's happened a lot at this particular show because there's a lot of military folks who in and around the area, and to hear their experiences of having Halo be a sort of a relief valve from what they had to experience that day or the last few days or whatever it was, and to think that you, in some small way, got to help with that, which I think it speaks to what Jen was saying. But that's to hear those stories is very rewarding. The other very rewarding part of it, and this has been within the last 5 to 10 years, is the generational impact that the game has had. That's one of the great advantages of being involved in a game that's been around for going on 25 years. How many times I hear, well, this is what brought my dad and I together, or my older brother, or my sister, or my mother, or all of these things. That's a tremendous. I mean, that's just. It doesn't get any better than that to know that you're having, you're playing some small role in bringing people closer together. There's no bigger payoff than that.
I had a sweet moment where a guy said, "My 8-year-old son has finally asked if we can play Halo. I have waited for this moment my entire life." It was really darling. Yeah, right.
Thank you very much.
That's a great question.
That's a great segue to my question. No doubt there's many iconic video game characters that cross into the mainstream, like Mario, Sonic, that everybody knows. At what point did you guys realize you had become A-list video game celebrities?
Right now. Truly, I don't know.
She's not kidding.
What? What? I don't have an answer to that.
I'd put you up there.
I love that. Thank you.
We could probably do these last three like really quick. Can we do that? Yeah, we want to get to
lightning
everyone.
round.
All right. So in other bits of Halo content, other voice actors have come up, or actors have done Cortana and Master Chief. So I was curious if you have ever listened to those variations to see what kind of differences they have compared to your performance.
I don't know what you're talking about. Who's done Cortana and Master Chief? What's
I
happening?
believe Tara Strong did one or two times.
Tara.
And
Wait, what?
I don't know. I haven't heard that, so I couldn't compare it.
Okay.
I don't know. No, wait, what? And who did Chief?
In the Halo TV show.
Oh, Pablo.
Yes, Pablo,
Yes.
and also the guy whose name escapes me, who was in Forward Unto Dawn. I can't.
Daniel.
Somebody.
Cudmore.
Very good.
Nice.
Well
Jen Taylor.
done.
Well done, you.
Wow. Must have left quite an impression on Jen. They were fine. But to answer your question, they were fine.
I bet Tara was badass. I bet she was great. I don't know. I haven't heard it. Now I got to go listen.
So, if you could cross the Halo verse with another verse, what would you put it with?
Let's do something really weird, like Sonic or something. Totally weird.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mario and Halo. That would be fun.
I was at a convention one time, and Charles Martinet and I were doing a very abbreviated version of this, doing a panel, and we started doing each other's lines.
Oh.
Yeah.
As your own characters or as the other characters?
He would be Master Chief, and I would be.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
give us your Mario impression.
No, nobody needs to do it. It's really, even Charles was like, okay, let's end this. I think he felt sorry for me.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're in our last question.
For Steve, you've been Master Chief for going on 25 years now. How do you see him? Do you see him as a superhero, an anti-hero, or just a soldier, or something entirely different?
I wouldn't see him as an anti-hero. I mean, just by mere fact of what he is and what he can do, I guess puts him in superhero status. But I think he's maybe a little more complex individual than people in the game relate to. They look upon him as just this, super soldier, can do no wrong, whatever he says goes, blah blah blah. And I think there's a side of him that's a little more conflicted. And Cortana's the one that brings that part out of him, and also the weapon in a different way, sort of brought that, so Master Chief's like, how do I do this? That sort of thing. So, the exciting part about the evolution of the story is that he started out as a pretty two-dimensional, maybe even one-dimensional character. And by the time we get to Infinite, he's a little more fleshed out than that. And that's more exciting as an actor to, work that way, and more interesting, I would hope, to the viewer to, become closer to the character.
Well, thank you, and thank you for doing everything you do.
Oh, thanks so much. Okay, so we only have a few minutes. I do have to ask, what can you tell us about the future of Halo?
Nothing.
Oh, I tried, guys.
Next question.
I tried.
We'll know more in October.
Ooh, mark your calendars, folks. All right, so we are going to take a selfie. Because
cool.
It is time. We're doing that, I guess so.
Family photo.
Yes, a family photo. So I'm
With
waiting
my
for.
camera?
No,
I was-
these
I
guys.
was kidding.
And now.
But before we do, please give yourselves a round of applause. This was a really great
Yes,
crowd.
you guys were great. Really good questions. Really good stuff.